everyone, and welcome back to the WOW YouTube embossing channel. Hang on. The WOW embossing YouTube channel. So today's card is actually a card that I'm going to enter into the spring and summer coffee lovers of Blog Hop. So obviously we're going for a coffee theme. I love it, a latte. So I'm using this fun background stamp from Picket Fun Studios, but because it is a like 6x6 stamp, I am going to be using the Concord & 9 Turnabout jig in order to, and I did realize I put it on upside down, but it will still work. So the reason I'm doing this is to make sure that I get my stamped images all the way out to the edges instead of putting my card base, the background, into the MISTI without anything else. And also so that I can use the magnets to actually hold everything in place, which once I put this down, I will readjust because it wasn't quite, where I needed to go. But, okay, so it turns out that this stamp might be sort of 5.5 by 5.5, but it's, it's square. There we go, it's square. And it's from Picket Fun Studios, and I do believe it's called Love of Coffee, which is like perfect. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to be using this background. And then I'm going to be actually embossing quite a lot with this ink because it is one of those watercolor cardstocks that has a bit of a texture to it. I do believe that this is the Ranger watercolor cardstock. So I did use it on the sort of the textured side rather than the smooth side, which was a bit of me, but oh well, you live and learn. So I did re-ink my pad as well, and then I stamped this up 3 times to make sure that I had a really good impressions with the embossing pad. And then I have used Opaque Bright White Super Fine for all of these little bits and pieces. And once I kind of get that corner out of the way so I can actually hold it up to the camera, we are going to have a look at all this melting magic in view. So you can see here, I'm using my cork trivet, and I mean, this is like one of my probably top tips when it comes to heat embossing. Get something made out of cork. I mean, obviously it does have to be flat, but you get the gist. And then you use that under your heat embossing. You can, with word dyes, you just pin your word dye down with some pointy tweezers, and you don't even have to hold it. And I do find that with the cork trivet, the heat kind of comes back from the back as well. So you get a really even heating. And I think it actually helps with some warping that you get on some paper. So grab yourself a cheap cork trivet and add that to your stash because it really is so cheap and so useful. So we're coming to the end here now, and you can kind of see how like all of these little, like this pattern is super fine. It has lots of fine little lines, but even with the cardstock being kind of textured, you can still get a really good imprint there. So I want to spell out coffee because obviously it's coffee. So I am using a little piece of acetate to keep my work surface clean. And then I have measured out a little scrap piece of white cardstock, and then we are going to like go to town with the dabby dab with the embossing pad. And then on top of this, we're going to make our own metallic card stock. And oops, that was my head as well. And we're going to be using metallic copper, which is a fantastic, lovely sort of caramelly coffee look or color even. So you'll see what I mean. But it does look kind of like reddish when you put it on like this. But then when you melt it, oh, thank goodness. That is like super gorgeous. And this one is super fine as well. So if you think that, okay, well, I didn't really get that much of a very good layer of the embossing pad at the first time, there you go. So metallic copper, super fine. And you can actually just pour another layer on top, give it a little shake, and you will see that all those like little granules will kind of fall down where it hasn't covered your cardstock. And with the heat gun on the lower setting, we're going to just sit back and watch the magic happen. I mean, if there's anything that is as satisfying crafting wise than watching heat embossing, I want to know what it is, because I don't really think anything can, like, I don't think it can be beaten. No, I really don't. Look at that. And like just with a whiff of a wand, or heat tool in this case, and you just see how it like whoosh, and that color comes out. So you can see how it goes from kind of like a reddish brown to like this sort of rich metallic copper. It's just stunning. I mean, I really wish you could see this in real life, because it looks fantastic. I almost said another word there, but yeah. So we're coming to the end of this, and then I'm going to set that aside just to kind of let it cool down a little bit before I actually cut out my letters. And we're going to admire this a little bit, of course, as well. But then there might have been so that I forgot to film some parts of this card making. So, but you've seen the heat embossing anyway, so that's what we're here for, isn't it? I'm hoping. So there we go. We've hopped straight into like a finished card, but I heat embossed the sentiment as well to make it say, today's good mood is sponsored by coffee. And then I colored up, I don't know where that accent is. I colored up some coffee mugs as well and stuck those onto the card. And with that, it's all done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Although don't put lemon in your coffee. Ugh, no. And that's it from me for today. But I will see you soon again. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channels for more fab tutorials.